Once a product team has completed its feature prioritization process and determined which products and features will be developed and delivered in a given time period, there's a final step: communicating back to stakeholders this list of what's been committed, what has not been committed, and most importantly, why or why not. As human beings, we respond to reasons, so it's very important to share these reasons with our stakeholders and organizations, the reasons underlying the prioritization decisions that were made, why one thing was prioritized over another. Usually there will have been stakeholders who had been advocating passionately for a given set of features that will not make the final list of commitments. This outcome only needs to occur so many times before stakeholders question the overall integrity of the process and lose confidence. And with this loss of confidence comes politics and inefficiency. We can combat this type of entropy by sharing our reasoning. Sequiturs AI is the platform for organizations to share their reasoning about important decisions. So here we are in Sequiturs AI, platform for better outcomes through better reasoning. And here I'll show how a product team uses Sequiturs AI to communicate clearly with stakeholders. Up top, we have the issue. It's the topic we're responding to. Which user features have we committed for the second half of 2023? We want to communicate out to our stakeholders and organization, not just what we've decided to prioritize, but why. As human beings, we respond to reasons, and we want to share those reasons with the people who need to see them. So there are 3 separate cards, or arguments as we call them in Sequiturs AI, each for a different user feature that's been prioritized. On the far left, we decided to build a search MVP to increase user engagement. In the middle, we've committed to delivering an on-platform sharing feature by end of year 2023. And on the right, we've committed to delivering a one-click sign-up feature by end of year 2023. Not only can we quickly see what's been prioritized, but why. In this case, on the left side, there are 4 reasons or premises leading to our conclusion. In the middle, we've got 6 reasons or premises leading us to our conclusion. And finally, on the right side, 3 reasons or premises leading to our conclusion. This structure of premise tying together to conclusion is the backbone of Sequiturs AI. If I want to go ahead and create a new argument for another feature, I'm presented with the same framework, same structure. I answer my reasons to get to my conclusion. You can also support your points with various documentation. As we have here, there's a link to Confluence survey research, linking Net Promoter Score to desire for the feature. Or here, some analysis, could be a Tableau dashboard, could be anything. And here's a Jira ticket, which presumably has the scoping engineering did on estimating the time and effort. Now, ordinarily, large features like this would be accompanied with just a lot of documentation. Confluence documents expressing different points of view, different pieces of the feature, analysis, survey research, meeting notes. And instead of having to peel through a significant amount of documentation to get to the reasoning, here we have, as a product team, compressed it down so that it's highly readable by anyone in the organization. Very, very quickly, we can see why we're doing something. We still have all the documentation under the hood, and as I just showed, you can link to that and create citations, but we can also create a reduced down version that really delivers the reasons why we're doing something. And we can provide access directly to this Sequiturs AI dashboard, or we could easily port the arguments over to another centralized document. For example, this one in Confluence, if we wanted to pass this priorities document around the organization, now we can share with the organization why we're doing what we're doing. We can all march to the beat of the same drum. We can know what we've decided to build and why, and start preparing for this. So as a way of aligning our stakeholders in our organization, this is a very powerful, information-dense way of communicating what we've decided to do, so we can start preparing. Now, if not as important, probably more important actually than even communicating the reasons for what we've decided to commit, are the reasons for what we've decided to backlog, what has not made it. This is really important. We want to share with our stakeholders who have requested features why we decided not to prioritize that feature, so they don't just wind up not seeing it on the final list of commitments. We want to address specifically, this is the feature you asked for, we know why, and this is why we decided not to commit it for the second half of 2023. So in this case, there are two features. One is a download feature, and one is a customer service integration of some kind. And we first reiterate the reasoning that was given to us for the feature, but then we have to also explain what was missing, what we didn't get. Now, unlike in the prior example where it's valuable just to show what we've decided and what's going to be built in the second half of 2023, in this case, with the items that did not make the committed list, we want to invite engagement directly into Sequiturs AI. We can now be very focused with our stakeholders on the specific areas where we do or do not agree. So we can understand the assumptions, we can understand the scope, we can really pick the feature apart and have a very structured, valuable dialogue about it. So in this case, here's the customer service feature. I have my reasons that, we understood it would reduce phone line congestion, and there's all the reasons I have here, but we need to consider and test AI integrations for customer service. Now, all my points for and against the feature here are laying out very clearly, so we can augment and challenge. We can create an argument against or for any particular part of the argument. We can really be very focused in our discussion. We can figure out where we don't align. That's actually what's happened down here. I've created a challenge for premise 5. We can see premise 5. Analytics estimated that each chat would have to wait 12 minutes for engagement. And here I've challenged just that point, that these assumptions probably won't hold with Forex, the CS issues. So I can be very focused, and a stakeholder can come in and we can have a very valuable conversation about the details, so we can advance this feature. So as we move ahead in time, we can get it ready for an upcoming work cycle. We can also engage in comments. Here I've commented on the third premise. We need to examine the accuracy of this estimate. We should model out the several different scenarios to ensure we have a reasonable expectation for the volume of requests. I can create, just in the way I can for a challenge or augmentation, I can create a comment for any particular piece of the above argument. And in this way, you can have a very valuable structured conversation with our stakeholders, so we can cover ground, figure out where we're aligned, figure out where we're not aligned, what assumptions don't hold up, what analyses do we need, do we think it's useful. Furthermore, here's the other argument for the download feature. We can revise this initial argument that the product team has inputted, right, with its 5 premises and its 3 conclusions. You see here we've labeled out, their content downloads needs more clarity on total market size to justify the commitment. We need to estimate near-term revenue increase. We need to estimate ongoing maintenance costs. We can actually work on these details with our stakeholders right in Sequiturs AI. And we can see over here on the revisions tab, on the right side, there are 4 nodes. The first node at the top is the original argument, why we backlogged this particular feature, and then we engage with our stakeholders and make progress on fleshing out the detail until the last step. Here we are, we've got way more detail, and we've evolved. We can see how these arguments are connected to each other and how the argument evolves over time. So by the end of this work cycle, let's say, as we're preparing for the next one, we now have another very clearly examined work feature for prioritization. Now, there might be additional revisions that come down the road, but whatever feature comes last is the one that we're going to review the upcoming work cycle, the next work cycle. So Sequiturs AI gives us the tools as a product team to engage specifically on issues that we are not aligned on, for features that our stakeholders want. We can examine our reasoning, we can examine the assumptions, we can examine the analyses, supporting documentation. We can build on the argument to make it stronger over time so it's ready for the next work cycle. We can really just communicate more effectively. And when we have large features like this, there's a lot of communication that needs to occur. So using Sequiturs AI allows us to target the specific areas that really need enhanced clarity.